This is Second Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. Call Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach Malak Yahweh. Forgive me the spirit and power to do this lesson. Right? We're gonna touch on today. We're gonna deal with uh the banks collapsing. The banks collapsing goes into simply, you know, the mark of the beast, man. That's where we at. We at the mark of the beast. Hey, and we're in a time where we have to prepare ourselves in these last days, man. I got a couple articles. I got a couple scriptures I want to bring out to tie them into, right? Just to show that, in these last days, this is what's going to happen. And we have to prepare ourselves spiritually, mentally, but you can never physically prepare for this. You can never physically prepare for this. You can stack up all the money you want to, you can stack up all the food you want to, but you will never physically be able to prepare for this, right? So first, I want to get warmed up by bringing out Sirach chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So whether it's a great matter or a small, you're not supposed to be ignorant. Ignorant goes back to you not knowing. You're supposed to be up to date, even if it's just a little bit on everything, man. Right? And this CBDC, we see all camps are going over nowadays. Right? This is very important because the CBDC equals MOTB, mark of the beast. Now, they're not saying just because it says CBDC, this is exactly what the mark of the beast. It's the mark of the beast in the Bible, but it's CBDC in reality, right? But it's the same thing, right? So I got a couple articles. We're not going to read the whole article, but I do want to get a couple of points out of this article to show you what their plans is. That's why I brought out 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. For we are not ignorant. That means we know about this nigga's schemes, his evil schemes at that. Believe it or not, we're in a time where uh they talking about in July that the CBDC is gonna be full blown, right? Meaning the dollar is done away with, right? Why are they waiting to July? Because they have to, hit a couple corners, right? They have to make sure that everything is fully intact. But guess what? The Lord already told us in Job chapter 5 that even though, they should not be successful with their enterprise, their enterprise should not be successful, Salakia. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna just read this two paragraphs. It says technical possibilities for a U.S. central bank digital currency. Right? It says President Biden often summarizes his vision for America in one word: possibilities. A digital dollar. Right. So the physical dollar is going to be done away with. Right. This might seem cool. This might seem like there's nothing wrong with it, but if the physical dollar is taken away, that means they're going to cut out all the middlemen. And I'll give you an example. Let's say your tire catch a flat and you go down the street to Pablo at his tire shop. You can give him $5 to $10 and he can put that little sticky stuff in your tire and he can seal that hole up. You give him $5, you own about your way. Now with a digital dollar, Esau will tax that. So you will be paying everything that you think that you pay under the table to somebody to do something for you. Now Esau has the ability to tax it and monitorize it and tell you no, you can't buy that. And I'm gonna show you. It even says that in the article we're about to read, but it says may seem far-fetched, but modern technology could make it a real possibility. All right, let's see when a date. What's the date? This is September 16, 2022, right? So we're in March of 2023, and we see that they're doing it. So this right here is all facts what we're about to read. It says a United States central bank digital currency will be a digital form of the US dollar, right? And that's why these banks are collapsing, because this is what they're ushering in, a new era of the digital dollar, right? That's why these banks are collapsing, and they got all these people going to these bigger banks like the Bank of America, JP Morgan, right? Because JP Morgan and Bank of America, they already are down with the program. They already have everything established. And guess what? The people are like sheep, and they're actually transferring from these banks that's collapsing, like Silicon Valley's bank, and they're actually going to Bank of America and JP Morgan, just like how Esau want them to do. right? So like, let me share my screen. That's my fault. Just like how Esau want him to do, though, want them to do, because the people are sheep, right? The people are like lost sheep. They need a guidance. That's why the Most High always set up governments, right? But this government right here is a cruel government, right? And it tells you that in Sirach chapter 10, like as if the government, so as the people. So when you look at the people, you will see exactly how the government is. And I'm gonna get it right quick. It says Sirach 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So when we look at the judge, when we look at the officers, when we look at the government, we see how wicked they are, but you can see how wicked they are simply through the people. Look how wicked the American people are. That's how wicked your government, your local government is, because they're the ones who bringing the drugs in. They're the ones who putting the guns on the streets. They don't want to have a liquor store on every corner. They're the ones that trying to make it seem like they want peace and they want everybody to live good, but behind closed doors, they creating things like this to oppress you. But it says a United States central bank digital currency will be a digital form of the US dollar. While the US have not yet decided whether it will pursue a CBDC, right? And we're in March 2023 and they've done it. So all this is shenanigans. It's all gimmicks because they're doing it. Now, all of a sudden in September of last year, they didn't know if they wanted to do it, but now it's full blown. Now the banks are collapsing. It says the U.S. has been closely examining the implications of and options for issuing a CBDC. If the U.S. pursued a CBDC, there could be many possible benefits. This is what they're going to hit you with. There's benefits, right? If you're a felon, you probably not a felon no more. If you have a debt, then they'll wipe your debt clean. If you apply for the CBDC, right? If you get down with the New World Order, so to speak. But it says such as facilitating efficient and low-cost transactions. You see that, right? Because right now everything is up. The prices are up. It's $5 for a bag of chips, man. Even gum has went up. Gum used to be a little stick of gum, 5 pieces in there, was 35 cents. Now it's 50 cents. Everything has went up. So they're telling you, this CBDC is going to lower cost transactions, right? This is how this is what they're hitting you with. It says fostering greater access to the financial system, boosting economic growth. I mean, we look at it right now. Everybody loves the US dollar. Asians come over here, they set up beauty stores. Got Elam, the East Indians come over here, they set up hood stores. And guess what? They set these hood stores up in all these stores up, and they take the American dollar back to their country. So what's really wrong with the American dollar? It's nothing wrong with it, right? They just want to be able to tax and govern everything that you pay for. Imagine you trying to pay for some shoes, and they're like, nah, you didn't bought 3 pairs of shoes this month. You cannot buy any more shoes this month. Right? You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be hot and bothered. But this is their plan to tell you that you had too much sugar this week. You cannot buy anything that has sugar in it. This is literally their plan. It says, in supporting the continued centrality of the U.S. within the international financial system. However, a U.S. CBDC could also introduce a variety of risk, right? As it might affect everything ranging from the stability of the financial system to protect of sensitive data, right? So where's the point? I wanted to get a point out of here. I think it's the next paragraph. Right here. Yeah, it says notably, these benefits and risks might vary significantly based on how the CBD system is designed and deployed. Now, they already know how it's designed and deployed. We not stupid. We've been watching them this whole time. Brothers do videos over this every day to give you updates. You know, the Watchmen, they're giving you updates on what's going on every single day, right? But you know, they come in this, maybe we'll do this or we might do this, but then here it is right now, they're doing it, right? And they ain't warning nobody. The banks just collapsed out of nowhere, right? Just like the Roe versus Wade thing, it just happened out of nowhere. They overturned it right then and there, and they didn't care. They didn't ask nobody about nothing. They just did it. This is how your local governments operate, right? They do not care about the people. But it says that is why Executive Order 14067, ensuring responsible development of digital assets, placed the highest urgency on research and development efforts into potential design and deployment options of a U.S. CBDC. The executive order directed the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Now, this is the Science and Chip Act. I've done a lesson over this already with the Science and Chips Act, right, to show you what this is going into. Right, so the CBDC goes into the Science and Chip Act, which actually is going into the mark of the beast. Eventually, they're going to want you to get a mark in your hand or on your forehead to receive your own money. That is the bottom line of it. And once you do that, they're still going to be governing your money and telling you what you can and can't do with your money. I mean, look, they're telling you what you can and can't do about your own kids. They're telling you cannot discipline your kids. The government will discipline your kids. That's what it says in the New World Order book, if you've read that book before. It literally says you will not be able to govern your kids. The government will govern your kids. They will discipline your kids. Right? But all of their methods are not working, or America wouldn't be in a position that they are in right now. But it says in consultation with other federal departments and agencies to submit to the president a technical evaluation for a potential U.S. CBDC system. Right? So now that we know that the president has issued in September 16, 2022, a CBDC system, it says right here in this article, CBDCs will be the end of American freedom. This is the whole picture. It is the end of your freedom. They're trying to they look at you as a serf. A serf is simply a slave. The elites don't call you slaves. They call you serfs, right? But a serf is a slave, right? You can Google that. It says, if the Federal Reserve adopts a central bank digital dollar, right, which we just seen, this is Biden's whole plan, right? This is President Joe Biden's, often summarizes his vision for America in one word. All right, let's go back to it. It says, adopts a central bank digital dollar, the American government will be on a surefire path to authoritarianism, right? This means they're going to have complete authority over you. It says central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, have caught the Fed's attention in recent months as the agency explores developing a digital dollar based on the blockchain, fueled by the meteoric rise in popularity of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Right. And I had the elder, he was at the job telling me I need to invest in Bitcoin. I need to get into this Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and start getting my money now, because I was explaining to him how the dollar is about to be done away with. So everybody's already on board with this cryptocurrency, with this blockchain, right? It says, while some, and this is the scripture it goes into, let me get it right quick. I guess I can get it right here. All right, Revelation chapter 13. Right, and this is Bible prophecy. There's nothing no one is going to be able to do to stop this. You're not going to be able to get on a big ass megaphone and go throughout the cities and the towns and the states and tell people to wake up. The government is trapping them. The government is about to ruin them by governing their money. They're going to have to see the hard way, because that's Bible prophecy. The Most High is in control. The Most High put Esau in control. Now, everything you see this devil doing is for their demise, man. I'm trying to think of the scripture that actually solidifies that for their demise. I just read it. Let me get it. I think it's in Peter. But while I'm looking for that, this is Revelation 13 and 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. This is talking about the Roman Empire. And all the world wondered after the beast, right? The Roman Empire gives America, to simplify it, the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire is founded, America is founded off the ancient Roman Empire. Everything that you see in ancient Rome, everything they was doing, you see it here in America. When you got Democrats and Republicans, the Romans had that. They had Poblars, that was called the Poblars, and the Optimans. It wasn't called Democrat and Republicans. Right? When you got the Senate, the U.S. Senate, guess what? The Romans had they had a Roman Senate. They even had the Israelites have a Senate. Right? Even the structure of the House, the White House or the Senate House, the Pentagon, it is the same architect from the Roman Empire. Right? Concrete roads. It goes back to Rome. That's why it says all roads lead to Rome, because you can get in and out of America by any way you want to. You can just get on a highway and just go and just get out of America. All roads lead to Rome, and it goes the other way around. All roads from anywhere else can lead to America, right? But it says his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. The beast is a system, right? Starting with the United States of America. It says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. The dragon is the Roman Empire. That's where this whole architect come from. That's the power. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him, right? So this is what the people says. This is how the people operate. These dumb ass American people are going to follow after the beast. They're going to do whatever the beast tells them to do. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop them. So we're about to watch everybody fall right into the hands of this damn devil. And that's just what it is. And that's why we see them switching from their local banks to Bank of America and JP Morgan. Right. So going back to this, it says, I'm trying to find that. Let me get that precept in Peter. Make sure I got it. All right. So 1 Peter chapter, I believe it's chapter 1 or chapter 2. Okay. It's a scripture where Peter was telling you, he told you to have respect. In fact, I know where I can get it. 1 second. One second. 1 Peter 2 and 13. All right, it's 1 Peter 2 and 13. First Peter 2. See what Peter said. First Peter chapter 2, verse 13, it says, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers. So this is not saying, just because it's saying this right here to submit to the CBDC and take the mark of the beast. No, this is saying that, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. He set these men up, and it tells you right here, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers. And we know that's why Esau was set up, so that he can punish the nation of Israel. We went into captivity for our evil, right? And it says also, and for the praise of them that do well, right? Because, the Most High maketh your enemies be at peace with you if you're doing well, right? And that's simple, but the scripture says that you're supposed to submit yourselves to every ordinance of man that the Lord, for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, unless it goes against the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High God, right? So I can. 15. It says, "For so is the will of God, that with well doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men." Right. So like you're going back to this. It says right here, and we all have subjection under this system one way or another, because we all have to go to work, we all have to do this, and we all have to pay bills, we have to do this. But there's going to come a time, which we know as of the hour of temptation, where you're going to have to choose. And temptation goes back to urges, urges that you have, right? Do you want to continue to eat their restaurant food? Do you want to continue to live in this house paying bills every month, every week? Got a bill coming, right? Those are the urges and temptations that you're going to be forced. Do you want to keep this life, or do you want to give it up, right? And what did Yahushua say? Right? Let's see what Yahushua said before we get back to the article. Matthew chapter 10. Okay. Matthew chapter 10 and right here. It says, "He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me." Right? So we have to be doing what Yahushua HaMashiach told us. And one thing he showed us in Matthew 22, he says, "Render unto Caesar what's Caesar's." That means, because he asked him, he said, "Whose face is on this money?" And they said, "Caesar." Caesar goes back to the Romans. You got to understand. The reason why they're called Caesars is because the Romans did not like to be called kings. They didn't like to be called that. They like to be called the father of the country, or they like to be called Caesar. That's why the Jews said, "We have no king but Caesar." He was correcting them. They was correcting him. Like, don't call him king. He want to be called Caesar. Right? So that's when Yahushua says, "Render unto Caesar what's Caesar's." You get money so that you can survive. But there's going to come a time and place where we have to solely depend on the Most High God in these last days. And when we're looking at this CBDC will be the end of America, this is talking about the end of the people that does not get down with this system. We're talking about the people that has a conscience, right? We're talking about the people that the Most High have woken up in these last days, right? But it also says right here in verse 39, "He that findeth his life shall lose it," right? "And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it." So this is simply saying, this is the part I wanted to get, verse 39. It says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it." That means you're trying to find your life. You're trying to find a career and actually prosper here on this side. It says you're going to lose it, because ultimately you're going to lose the war. You're going to lose the battle, because Esau's plan is not for you to make it. Esau's plan is for you to be a programmed slave, right? And it says, "And he that loseth his life for my sake," you following Yahushua Mashiach, you're going to find it. You're going to find it not on this side, but in the kingdom, right? A lot of people, they just think about it in their head. They don't want to die. They don't want to die to be able to see a kingdom. But a lot of people aren't going to die to see the kingdom, right? That's something you have to keep in your mind too. Some people are literally going to translate from this kingdom to the next, right? But we have to be doing what we got to do in these last days. But this is the point I want to get out. I'm going to read it one more time. "He that findeth his life shall lose it." You're trying to find your life having careers. You're trying to have that white picket fence. You're trying to have it. This is not the time for that. Neither are you going to get that here in this time. You see Esau, this nigga got the crunch down. Here it is. It ain't even a year later from the world's greatest pandemic, and this nigga that already came up with something else. This nigga moving fast. It ain't even been, it's from 2020 to 2022 was the pandemic, where you had to wear masks, hand sanitizer, they shut down restaurants, people was getting laid off, and not even a year later, now the banks are collapsing. this is self-explanatory. This nigga is moving. So it says, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. You know, you losing family members, you losing friends, you losing these careers that made you work on the Sabbath, you losing all these things for the Lord, the sake of the Lord. You're going to find a new life, a new and better life, right, when he returns, right? But a lot of people don't have enough faith. They don't believe that, right? So I'm going to keep going. It says, I'm going to start back right here. It says central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, have caught the Fed's attention in recent months as the agency explores developing a digital dollar based on blockchain, fueled by the meteoric rise in popularity of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Right? That's why they simply do this by causing these, this cryptocurrency to rise. Right? Like you put money into something, and they make it to where next thing you wake up and you got $500 in your bank account, and you only put like $20 in there. So they're making people interested in it, and they're making people invest in it, right? Right, because they want everybody to stray away from the physical dollar. But they have no idea this is going to be their demise. It says, while some compare CBDs, and think of it like this, there's always been physical currency. Right? Now, it was gold and silver, but there's always been physical currency. But they want to do away with physical currency because Esau worships technology. And guess what? He wants you to worship technology with him. It says, that's what he do. Esau, I'll show you the precept. Esau got to go down. So guess what? Esau wants you to go down too. That is Revelation chapter 12. That is Revelation chapter 12, and I believe 10. Esau know he's going down. He know his only promise is destruction. So guess what? He got to take down as many as he can. Right? That's the name of the game. That's in every movie. That's in every show. That's even in reality. If I'm going down, nigga, you going down with me. Right? That's reality. Right? It says, Revelations 12 and 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Hamashiach. Right? This is the point right here. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Now, how do they accuse the Israelites before God day and night? Are they literally saying, look at your people? No, they have you in sin. And they're allowing they know the Most High is watching you being an Israelite. So what they're doing is they're having you in sin on a daily basis. Why do you think they're giving Jake millions of dollars now? Now they're giving Jake the opportunity to do whatever they want to, now that they're destroyed. So this is how they accuse the Israelites before the Most High, by keeping them in sin. Right? That's how they accuse them. Oh, look at Jacob. Look at your son, Jacob. This is your righteous son? These are your sons that you call righteous? Right? This is your firstborn? This is who you cast me behind your back for? Right? This is Esau. This is the accuser. Right? So going back to this, it says, while some compare CBDCs with Bitcoin, as CBDCs can be based on the blockchain, similarities between the two in there. In fact, CBDCs are a wolf in sheep's clothing. We know about this scripture right here. A wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Being sneaky, right? Being crafty. This is your local governments or your Senate or your Congress, right? They're telling you what they're going to do. They're saying in July, they're going to have this cracking. And it ain't going to be nothing you can do to stop it. Nothing. And that's Bible prophecy. There's going to be nothing you can do to stop it. Right? That goes back to Revelation chapter 3. See what they say in Revelation chapter 3. This is a classic scripture that everybody knows about, but it says right here, Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them to dwell in the world. So the whole entire planet, the whole entire world. Now, this world right here is dealing with everybody. Everybody's going to be faced with this temptation And like I said, temptation goes back to urges. You want to maintain, you want to keep the lifestyle that you had, but you're going to have to make a decision. That's why it's a temptation. You got to make a decision. Each and every last one of us are going to have to make a decision. But Yahushua already told us what to do when this comes. He says, flee into the mountains. That's now, some of us might not have mountains around us. It just means get the hell out of Dodge. Get out of that area. Just leave, man. Just go and let the Lord do the rest. So he says, when you keep the word of his patience, right? When you proclaim the gospel and you do what you can for the ministry, he says he'll do that for you. He will keep you from the hour of temptation. Right now, keeping you from the hour of temptation, you still have to deal with the temptation. You still have to do it. He's only saying he's going to make it easier for you to deal with it. Right? And he's going to take care of, his elect. There's plenty of precepts on that. Right? But this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Let me see. This isn't it. Slocky, I said 13. I mean 10. 10, right? It says 10 and 13. It says, there have no temptation, right? That word go again, temptation, taking you, but such as is common to man, right? Everybody goes through temptation. It's common. Everybody goes through it. Even Peter said that. He says, think it thou strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though something strange has happened to you. Nothing strange has happened to you. All of us are going to have to deal with this hour of temptation. But it's just that some people are going to be stronger than others because they grounded themselves in the word. It says, but God, who is faithful, right? He's faithful to his elect, right? He also said in 2 Ezra 9 and 18 that the multitude of the people was born in vain, and he's going to allow them to die. He's going to watch them die. But it says God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above ye are able. So whatever you do have to go through in that time, the Lord, this is something you have to keep in your mind. This is something the Lord is giving you. He's telling you, he's giving you his mind, and he's telling you that he's not going to allow you to suffer above that you are able. That means whatever he put on you, you can handle it. You can deal with it. And you're going to have to deal with it, because the scriptures also say, woe unto them that have lost patience. Right? Remember, let me go back to it. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? He will keep you from the hour of temptation. But when you go to Sirach chapter 2, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, it says this. All right, Sirach chapter 2 and verse right here, 14. I'm gonna just get the point. It says, and all this is good from 12 all the way down is dealing with this subject matter. But it says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Right? What are you going to do when the Lord visits you and he's shaking his head? Like, bruh, all you had to do was this. All you had to do was that. But it says right here, woe is destruction unto every single person that lose patience in the Lord. Right? We cannot lose patience. Now, for the ones that don't know, let's simply see what the word patience go back to. Because this is what Yahushua himself said that we have to have in order to make it. Right? I'm going to go to the etymology. Not no Merriam-Webster dictionary. All right. This CBDC, man, this is so real. Is definitely going into the market of the beast, bro. This is what they're gonna use to put a chip in your right hand or in your forehead. This is where it all begins, right here with the central bank digital currency. This is how close we are to the end. This is one of the last prophecies we are waiting to come to pass. Right? So it says, Patience. It says the quality of being willing to bear adversities, right? So you being patient while you're suffering. Adversity is when you're suffering. It says calm. So like it says calm endurance of misfortune, right? Misfortune is you losing things. You're not getting the things that you need or want, but you're in a calm state. You understand that this has to happen, right? It also says suffering. So patience goes back to suffering, right? What else it say? The quality of suffering or enduring. It says submission. So you submitting yourself to the Most High God, no matter what you're going through. Humility, right? The quality of suffering, right? It's all saying the same thing. It says quiet or calmness in waiting for something to happen. And what is that something we're waiting to happen? We're waiting for the Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Because we will be waiting on the Lord to come and deliver us, man. That's his name, Yahweh Shah. He delivers, he saves, and that's what we're waiting on, right? So we went to Revelations 3:10, where it says, if you keep the hour of it, if you keep the word of his patience, everything that's in the Gospels, he says he will keep you from the hour of temptation. But it says if you give in, right, and you woe unto them that has lost patience, what are you going to do when the Lord visits you? Now, this is talking about visit you in Jacob's trouble or physically visits you. You have to choose, right? But it says right here, are a wolf in sheep's clothing, co-opting Bitcoin's appeal while undermining every one of its underlying principles, right? You're not even considering the principles that they have set up for you. You're not even considering your own morals, right? That's a lot of people. They don't have no idea, bro. Like this is real. They're literally going to be. As a matter of fact, we just gonna read it. It says a CBDC adopted by the U.S. government would involve digital represent dollars, right? And while I'm right there, I gotta pull this up because they did the same thing in China. They did the same thing in China. They closed down the banks, and the people in China went crazy. And that's the same thing that's going to happen in America, right? And I have this pulled up on my phone, so I'm gonna just read it off my phone. It says, right here, it says, and this was in Monday, July 11th, 2022. So almost a year ago, this happened, and people just forgot about it. But it says, protests in China over frozen bank accounts ends in violence. Now, remember when Sleepy Joe Biden said that they are trying to catch up to China? Joe Biden says they are trying to up to China. Remember when now this is the spokesman of America. This man said that they was trying to catch up to China, and it says protests in China over frozen bank accounts ends in violence. I bet you didn't even know that they was over there doing the same thing. Banks collapsing, freezing their bank accounts, telling them there's no money in these banks. And the people went into a violent state. Imagine America going into a violent state. Everybody's doing this because their money is gone. It's going to be way different. It's going to be way worse. Way worse, man. Look at that. I don't even want to pull it up. My internet be acting stupid. All right, so right here. It says at Summit of Americas, Biden plays catch up with China. I believe this is it. Look, it says U.S. President Joe Biden is hosting the Summit of the Americas in Los Angeles this week, bolstering engagement with leaders of Latin America and the Caribbean, right? Regions with China is making deep economic, and that's what we just read in this article. We just read that in this article right here about them changing the economy. Where is it? Right? Boosting economic growth. Right there. So it says a region where China is making deep economic and diplomatic inroads. The administration is offering a series of economic, health, and climate initiatives that it hopes will counter Beijing's growing influence and strengthen the democratic partners. Let me just get the point. I don't even think this is one. So we see everything that was happening in China is going to happen in America. All of that stuff that they was doing, blocking off certain areas, making it where they can't come in and out, right? Crashing the money or the physical money, bro. It just makes so much sense that these niggas are all in cahoots. It's not a coincidence that these niggas are all going towards a CBDC at the same time. These niggas are all in cahoots. Now, are they going to portray each other? Of course they are. Right? That's what Bible prophecy says. But as of now, these niggas are all in cahoots. Let me see if this is it. I keep going on videos. Man, I don't know which one it is. But there's an article I was reading. I've done a video on it. I just don't know what video it was. But it literally said Joe Biden said they are trying to catch up to China. Right? So let me go back to this, because I want to keep going. It says a CBDC adopted by the U.S. government would involve digital represent dollars, side led with all of the issues of fiat currency that Bitcoin created to solve. Now, remember, when you put two and two together, when you put these articles together, that's what they said the problem was, and that's what they said they was trying to fix. Right? It says right here, where is it at? If the U.S. right here, if the U.S. pursued a CBDC, there could be many possible benefits, such as facilitating efficient and low-cost transactions, fostering greater access to the financial system, boosting the economy growth, and supporting the continued centrality Slovakia of the United States within the international financial system. However, a U.S. CBDC could also introduce a variety of risk, as it might affect everything ranging from the stability of financial system to the protection of sensitive data. Right now, this is what this is going to, the risk that you taking doing this CBDC. And it tells you, just because you go into the CBDC, it says you're going to have the same issues with the that you had with fiat currency, which is the physical dollar. Now let's use an example. You pay a bill. You know how, like, when you, I don't know, everybody been through this before, where you went and paid a bill and they still cut it off. All right, but imagine them telling you that you paid it digitally, and you'd be like, I paid it already. And they say, well, I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties. We don't receive a payment from you, and you got to pay it all over again. This is the advantage that they're going to have over you. It says a CBDC adopted by the U.S. government would involve digital represent dollars side-led with all of the issues of fiat currency that Bitcoin was created to solve with a sinister new spin. Right now, this is where it gets crazy. By centralizing Americans' financial information and holdings in a digital database. That's what it's all about. They want to track everything you buy. I'm talking about even from the private things you want to buy, right? You want to buy condoms, you want to buy whatever you want to buy. I can't say what you buy that will make you feel embarrassed about you buying something. Whatever it is, they're going to have a database about it on it. It says by centralizing Americans' financial information and holding in a digital database controlled by the U.S. government. These niggas, these are the last people you want to have control over your money, man. Look how they taxing you. They tax you when you go to the store. First, they tax you every year. Let's say you get back $9,000, $10,000. You happy with that? You are happy with $9,000 or $10,000 getting back on your tax returns. But these niggas just took a whole 12, 13 extra $1,000 out of your taxes before you got it. That is facts. We all know this. They took $12,000 from you. So that $9,000 that you had, you were supposed to have 12 on top of that, but the government took all of that. So they tax you every year. Then they tax you every check. Every time you get your check, before you get your check, they already took out taxes, federal and state, right? And Social Security, right? And you get penalized for not having Medicaid. So they taxing you for all of this. Then when you receive your money, they taxing you at the stores. But when you go to the store, now you're getting taxed all over again. Bro, that is 3 methods of you being taxed. 3. There's other methods they're going to tax you on too, but we're just talking about those 3. That's very common. You do not want these niggas controlling your money. But guess what? Revelation 13 said the people are going to wander after the beast. They're going to do it. They're going to follow it because it's going to look cool. It's going to look interesting. It's going to look reliable. It's going to look all these ways. But it says CBDCs would create an authoritarian. It says surveillance. You get it. Authoritative. Like they're going to be over your money. That's what authority is. It says CBDCs will create an authoritarian surveillance state and constitute a severe overreach of government power, right? Telling you, well, you didn't get paid this week because of this. You didn't get paid this week because you owe this, right? So there could be situations where you don't receive no money back on your check because you owe something. And you'd be like, what the hell? Like if you go to Credit Karma, this is easy. If you sign up for Credit Karma, I believe it is, where you check your credit. You can check your credit. Bro, if you're an Israelite, they put shit on your credit to make it low on purpose. This is facts. We know this already. You'll be like, I've never even heard of this bank. They'll say you owe a bank because you got a loan out. And then the only thing, you'll hit one button and you'll be like disputed. And then you will win it right then and there. They'll review it. It take 24 hours. And I'm only saying this because I've done it. I reviewed like three different things that I've never seen or been to in my life. And I won it. So they make their Israelites credit low on purpose. Right? This is how they exhort their power. This is how they do you. But it says surveillance state and constitute a severe overreach of government power. With an American CBDC, the government would become both money printer and bank, destroying any checks, any balances to the government's power over Americans' financial holdings. They can wipe your bank clean. And guess what? When you sign up for it, so to speak, you're agreeing to that they can wipe your bank clean if they wanted to. You agreeing to that because you're putting your money in their banks. You know, when you put your money in their banks, your money is gone, right then and there. Why do you think when people ask for certain amounts of money, like $10,000, they try to go get out of the bank, they gotta wait a week so that the check can be cleared because the money is not in there. It's not your money no more. You just gave them your money so they can flip your money. And then you gotta ask for your money back. It says by granting the government ownership over the root technology of money. That's what you're doing. That's what the American people are doing. And I just read it. That's what China did. This is what China been doing. China's like a year or two ahead of America when it comes to this right here. Now, all of a sudden, you don't hear shit from China no more. Where is all the sick people at in China? Where is all this blocking off certain areas of Shanghai and Beijing and all these places? Where is all this shit? It's just gone because they all doing the same thing. It's just China is ahead of America right now. Other countries are ahead of America right now. It says by granting the government ownership. Bro, do you know what ownership? We all know what ownership means. It says over the root technology of money. CBDCs allow the government complete discretion over how and whether people can use their money. So you know what that means? Let's keep going. It says they would give the government total control and oversight over every person's holdings and transactions. In an ironic inversion of Bitcoin's fundamental objective as an anti-inflationary, decentralized currency free from third-party mediations, right? CBDCs would appropriate mainstream interest in Bitcoin and principles such as security and decentralization that have become synonyms with Bitcoin, right? So everybody is switching to Bitcoin and they have no idea this is all the same thing. It's all the same thing as CBDC. You're giving them complete control. That's why I don't know if you ever even seen it. When you look at Bitcoin, blockchain, when you look at all of this, cryptocurrencies, your money, it goes up and it goes down. Like you can put money into something and it can go up and it can go down. They can literally take your money because they're saying, yeah, everything went down. It's not selling like it should be. Next thing you know, you're losing money. Next thing you know, you want to cash out now. But how are you going to cash out if everything is digital? If the physical dollar is done away with, how are you going to cash out? I'm talking about people about to be in a pickle. Right? So it says, security. It says, while being in its antithesis, CBDCs are highly centralized form of currency absent of Bitcoin's anti-inflationary properties, as the government could continuously hint more of the digital currency just as it does with fiat currency, constantly devaluating. CBDC, so it's telling you this digital currency is going to come to a halt too. Now, this digital currency, it's gonna how can I say it? So the digital currency is the last objective. Now we know according to the Bible. Let me just get it. This is why I say this. Because that's what that's what America thinks. That's what it's saying in these articles, that this place is all going to come to naught, all of it. And they understand this. They like the digital currency is going to be the same as the fiat currency. It's going to come to naught, right? And that's what the Bible says. The Bible literally confirms that in Job chapter 5 and verse 12 right here. It says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, right? Who is the crafty? Esau, right? They're being crafty with this digital bank, this central bank digital currency, telling you we have a new form of cash and this is going to be way easier for you. We're going to make it to where everything is back cheaper. We don't have to worry about a recession anymore. Right? It says so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. The word enterprise simply goes back to success. So this says he disappointed the devices of the crafty, right? Which is their technology. It says so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, their success. They're not going to be successful in this objective that they're trying. It says he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Remember, the Most High said that Esau was wiser than Daniel and Ezekiel. So it says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong, right? You cannot do nothing. You can't use your hands or your feet. You can't use your feet to land on your feet, Salakia. You cannot land on your feet if you're going down headlong, right? It's just an ugly mess when you're going down headlong, right? Everybody knows that you're at your most afraid point. When you jump off of something, you're going down head first, that's when you're at your most afraid point. And this is where they're going to be. Their counsel is going down headlong, right? And it tells you in Revelation, let me get that right quick. Revelation 18, it's 18 and 20. All right, 18 and 21, I believe. Right here. It says, 18 and 20, it says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her. Right? And this is the point right here. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So the point is, when we deal with a stone, when you throw a stone, it says a great millstone. Let's say you could barely pick up this big ass block rock and you throw it in the ocean. What's the significance of it? It goes down fast and it goes down hard. Nothing is going to stop this stone from getting to the bottom of the ocean, and this thing is going to go down fast because of how heavy it is. And it says that's how Babylon the Great is going to be thrown down, right? So all these schemes that they got, they're not going to be successful, right? And that's what it's saying. It says right here, it says anti-inflammation, inflationary parties are as the government could continuously mint more of the digital currency, just as it does with fiat currency, constantly devaluating it. CBDCs have been embraced by the Chinese government. That's what I was just going over, how they crashed everybody's bank account and they said they have a new objective for them, right? Central bank digital currency. 1 second. So, Khan, Salakia, let's go back to it. It says CBDCs have been embraced by the Chinese government. One might think that by being championed by an authority, I'm going to use authority, state as a mechanism of financial surveillance. CBDC, so you understand that financial surveillance, you're not talking about literal just cameras. We're talking about a surveillance database. That means they can pull up your account, they can pull up your social security and see everything that you've bought in the last year. Every single thing that you bought. You will not be able to buy anything without this. Nothing. So what does that go back to? Man, precept upon precept, line upon line. This goes right back to this. You will not be able to buy anything without this central bank digital currency, without them being able to monitorize everything that you have. Right? This is the reality of Revelations 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, this is the point right here with this central bank digital currency, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? And these all go together. You being down with the system, you taking on everything all the way up until the mark, to simplify it. And it says, here is wisdom. This is wisdom right here. It says, let him that have understanding, if you understand this, count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 So if here is wisdom right here, and if you have understanding, then you will be able to understand who promotes 666. It's just that simple. Who promotes 666? What man promotes 666? What man has other nations promoting 666? Esau. Esau got Jake out here with that 666 like it's crazy. Look at Jay-Z and all the rest of the Israelites that promote 666. Right? It says CBDCs would lose their charm to the American government. However, Chinese interests, and you see how they're using China, because China is one step, two steps closer to this new world order than America is. It says the impetus for American exploration of the technology, having banned Bitcoin numerous times. Most recently, in September of 2021, China has barreled forward with plans for its digital yuan, or ECNY. So look, they have a digital currency. For these niggas to be at war, they both are doing the same thing, right? Whether it's to their money or it's to the people. I'm telling you, they're going to do the same. When we read this right here, let me read it one more time. It says protests in China over frozen bank accounts ends in violence. It says authorities say some customers will get their money back after angry crowd in Henan was broken up by heavy-handed security guards. Straight up, man. They was going crazy because China took all these niggas' money. Took all their money from them. It says, which is now being trialed by millions of consumers across the nation. The digital yuan will be an invaluable tool for the Chinese government to obtain vast amounts of public data, right? And strengthen its surveillance state, right? So not only just the cameras, they got cameras everywhere, but they're going to have money databases, which is a camera also. They're watching everything that you use you spend your money on. So if you spending your money on guns, they're gonna be like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you spending your money on guns that's illegal here? And then they're gonna come pick you up, right? All these niggas buying Glocks with switches on it, they're gonna come pick these dudes up, man. You're buying anything. Think of anything illegal in America that America sells. They're gonna lock you up for it. Some crazy shit, ain't it? It says CBDCs will give the Chinese government authority to turn off people's money like a light switch. Look, let me read that again. CBDCs will give the Chinese government authority to turn off people's money like a light switch. So let's say you got a warrant out for your arrest. This is what I always use. This is the most scariest thing right here. Let's say you got a warrant out for your arrest. You're not going to be able to buy or sell anything in the name and the badge that they give you, because I believe they're gonna start off with a digital ID, right, with your money on it, and then that digital ID is going to become the Karagma, which is the mark of the beast. But they so sloppy right now, it's not going to come to a head, right? It says CBDC, central bank digital currencies, will give the Chinese government authority to turn off people's money like a light switch. So how much more America? It says, while fiat currency and fiat currencies is physical dollar may be devalued over time by inflation. So, bro, they telling us what the fuck they're doing. So inflation, that's what, remember, we kept hearing inflation, all in 2022. Inflation, everything is going up. The chickens are dying. So we have to raise the prices on eggs. We have to raise the prices on chicken, on chicken. Because due to inflations, now we know why. So that they can smash the fiat currency. It says CBDCs can be devaluated in an instant at the government's whim. Right? And you can just keep going on this article, man. You can just keep going, and they're going to let you know everything that you need to know, man. Everything. Now, look, I have another one, and this is what I was going to title the lesson: the digital dollar weaponized, right? It says the establishment of a government-backed cryptocurrency is a threat to the freedom, right? You like your freedom being threatened? That's what this CBDC is about, man. this cryptocurrency, this Bitcoin. Now we're going to see cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We're going to see this shit just skyrocket. People are going to start hitting thousands and millions of dollars, and everybody's going to get interested. Everybody's going to be like, bro, you better get into the cryptocurrency. You better get into Bitcoin before it's too late, before it starts dropping. And then when everybody's in, that's when they're going to be like, gotcha. But it says the establishment of a government-backed cryptocurrency is a threat to the freedom of commerce and would give Washington the ability to weaponize banking against political dissent, or even block Americans from accessing their own money altogether. That's what they're doing right now. That's why these banks are collapsing, because they're trying to play this game. And it's called the digital dollar being weaponized. It says a digital version of the dollar has been in the works for over a year now. We know damn well it's been longer than that. Straight up. So you're not going to be able to hand a family member $50 when they need money now. You're not going to be able to help people out like that no more, right? Giving the homeless money. You're not going to be able to do that. It's going to be all for your purpose. It's going to, for what you need to do, right? You're going to be the only one be able to use your unless you're going to hand somebody. That's like handing somebody your credit card and be like, yeah, just get what you need. You're not about to do that. You're going to be like, hey, what you need, I'll get it. So how much more with this digital dollar? You're not going to be handing over nothing. So you're not even going to be able to help people, man. Right? We all know about the Silicon Valley Bank closed by regulators, right? Not only that, though, but check this out. Right? Not only that, but Wells Fargo, right? They tried to blackmail Wells Fargo, but it says Silicon Valley Bank CEO Greg Becker cashed out $2 million just before the collapse. So I'm only pulling this up to show you these niggas know what's going on. These niggas already know. Let me play this.
Parent company of Silicon Valley Bank, which has lost access to its financial records now after being placed into receivership by FDIC of US. SVB Financial is exploring options, including a potential bankruptcy sale for its venture capital and investment banking businesses, which were not included in FDIC's takeover of SVB. Its Chapter 11 bankruptcy has gotten off to a challenging start. It's due to break down in cooperation with the bridge banks set up by and SVB Financial, the parent company of Silicon Valley Bank, to take over the businesses. SVB Financial has no employees of its own, and new bank's employees, they have cut off access to substantial portion of SVB Financial books, records, files, electronic systems, and key employees. According to court documents, FDIC of US is attempting to stall now SVB's takeover. It may seek a breakup of failed lender. SVB Financial's court filings listed $19 billion in assets. It had $2.2 million in cash and cash equivalents and $3.4 billion in liabilities. SVB Capital, the venture capital and credit investment arm of the company, it manages about $9.5 billion in other investors' money spread across 30 pooled investment funds.
$9.9 billion in other people's money is just gone. And here it is, this nigga right here took out $2 million of other people's money right before the bank collapsed. Come on now, that's not a coincidence. Right? And you think he's going to get in trouble for this? Come on now, let's be real here. Let's be real. I'm pretty sure there's something where he has something to say. I'm pretty sure he don't even make that much money to be able to do that. But here it is. He didn't took out the American people's money for himself right before the bank collapsed. Right? Shouldn't he be indicted for that? I mean, we would be. It says right here, this is another one. It says Wells Fargo ordered to pay $3.7 billion for illegal activities, including unjust foreclosures and vehicle repossessions. Now, this right here, I'm pulling this up to show this is what these niggas do when they want to blackmail a bank. This is how they get the bank to get down. Right? This is how they do celebrities too. Right? This is how they did R. Kelly. This is how they did who else? This is how they do all the celebrities. They blackmail them. Right? This is how they did T.I. This is how they do all of these celebrities. How they do NBA YoungBoy. This is how they do. And I can just keep going if I can think. But this is how they do them. They frame them, and the next thing you know, they getting in line, man, or they're gonna close the bank down, right? But it says once again, Wells Fargo ordered to pay $3.7 billion for illegal activity, right? Come on now, we talking about the FBI, the CIA. Y'all niggas know what these banks are doing, right? But it says including unjust foreclosures and vehicle repossessions. This is a bank that's doing this. Y'all been knowing this. So imagine what these other banks are doing, right? Because remember, you go through banks when you want to get certain things. But it says even when you want to get a car, you go through a bank, right? It says federal regulators fined Wells Fargo a record $1.7 billion on Tuesday for widespread mismanagement over multiple years that harmed over 16 million consumer accounts. Now, think about it. Why are they doing this right now? It says over multiple years that harmed over 16 million consumer accounts. And y'all just now figuring this out when y'all crashing these banks? That don't make no damn sense, man. It says the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said Wells Fargo's illegal activity included repeatedly misapplying loan payments, wrongfully foreclosing on homes, illegally repossessing vehicles, incorrectly assessing fees and interest, and charging surprise overdraft fees. Bro, this is the same shit they're going to do with a CBDC. It is going to be no different. But at this point, when we enter the CBDC in July, this is what they said in July, right? It might be before, it might be after. Now, we can't actually put a date on it, but we know it's coming. That's the whole objective. We know it's coming, right? We know this shit is coming. But this is what they're going to be doing. They're going to have more. They're going to have more power over you to be able to do this. All right, so we seen in our records that you owe this, so we have to do this, right? And they have full power over your account, and that's what we just read right here. We literally just read it where it says, right, this paragraph right here. I'm going to just run through it. A CBDC adopted by the U.S. government would involve digital represent dollars side-led with all of the issues of fiat currency that Bitcoin was created to solve. With a sinister new spin by centralizing America's financial information and holdings in a digital database controlled by the U.S. government. CBDCs would create an authority surveillance state and constitute a severe overreach of government power. With an American CBDC, the government would become both money printer and bank, destroying any checks and balances to the government's power over America's financial holdings. They have complete control over your money. It says by granting the government ownership over the root technology of money. CBDCs allow the government complete discretion over how and whether people can use their money. Straight up. And it ain't nothing you're going to be able to do, man. Nothing. And this is the shit they're going to be pulling, saying that you owe. You did this. You have a warrant out for your arrest. You have to pay these fines. They're not going to tell you no more. All that damn auto pay, that's going to be mandatory. They're gonna take it out themselves. Like, so all these banks, everybody's in a different bank, but they're trying to make it to where certain banks are just the only banks, right? And these certain banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, these banks are already down with the system. They're already ready to take out shit out of your accounts. So you're not gonna have no say so. We just read it. They're gonna be like, yeah, you owe this. And you're not going to be able to say nothing. You're going to have to pay that. Right? You know how we do it as being Israelites, right? If I can wait a week to pay it, I'm going to wait a week to pay it. Should I wait till next week when I get paid to pay it? It's not going to be like that when it's come to pass. They're going to take that shit out and there's not gonna be nothing you can say. What you gonna say to them? What you gonna say? It's their money, and they have full power over it. Straight up. I wanted to get this. I should have got this when I was already going over Biden. But this is what Joe Biden said just on the 13th, March 13th, 2023. This is what he said.
Today, thanks to the quick action of my administration over the past few days, Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them. Small businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills. And their hardworking employees can breathe easier as well. Last week, when we learned of the problems of the banks and the impact they could have on jobs.
So this is where you get the term in the movies where they say, when the American government stand on the podium, like this nigga right here, when they say, everything is okay, you have nothing to worry about, we will take care of everything. This is the time where people are supposed to go into a frenzy. This is when people are supposed to go crazy, because when they say that, they have nothing in control. When they say this, they have an objective against you. Their plan is against you in a situation. It's not for you. Now, of course, they have to dress it up and make it look pretty. But look, it says this in Daniel chapter. Let me just get it down here. It says it in Daniel chapter 8 right here. In Daniel chapter 8. Right? In Daniel chapter 8 and 23. Now, this is dealing with Antiochus Epiphanes, but remember, these are the descendants of Antiochus Epiphanes, so we can use this. Just like we are the descendants of the Israelites, so we can use, our forefathers as us too, because we are of our forefathers. We are the seeds of them. So we can do the same thing with the heathen. It says right here, Daniel 8 and 23, at the end of their rule, which we are at the end of the rule, when their sin is at its height, at its highest point, right? We talking about at its highest point as in, bruh, homosexuals and transgenders running rampant around this thing. They think they have more rights than women, bruh. I'm talking about they're calling women weird. I'm talking about if you put your hands on a homosexual man, that is a hate crime. Whatever you did, whatever time you get, that is 5 more years added onto your time because it is a hate crime. We're not talking about a single father. We're not talking about a man who works every day, come home, and he does this and this. He served the country. No, we're talking about some weird ass people who's so confused. They're the most confused people on this earth. These niggas got more benefits than you. But it says at the end of their rule, when their sin is at its height, a fierce king, a master of intrigue, will rise to power. He will become very strong, but not by his own power, right? By the Most High. Because the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. The Most High set up these Edomites to do what they're doing right now. He gave them the technology to think that they're this prideful that they can take him and his people down. It says he will cause a shocking amount of destruction and succeed in everything he does. He will destroy powerful leaders and devastate the holy people. That's what they're doing right now, right? He's destroyed our powerful leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Nat Turner. He's destroyed these leaders, right? And there's more. But it says, and devastate the holy people. He will be a master of deception. That's what these niggas are. Look, listen. These niggas are masters of deception. Listen to what this nigga is saying. So I can. This nigga is telling you Biden says our banking system is safe after 2 banks shut down. How the fuck is it safe if 2 banks shut down already? Now we had our 3rd bank that shut down. Now they're urging people to switch their bank accounts to Bank of America.
2 days. Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them. Small businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills.
Straight up. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling you. And that's exactly what this prophecy says. It says, he will be a master of deception and will become arrogant. He will destroy many without warning. He will even take on the prince of princes in battle, but he will be broken, though not by human power. Right? So this is another. Let me get it in a KJV. Let me get it in the KJ. All right, let's see what it's saying in KJV. It talks about destroying him through peace, right? It says right here, 25. It says, and this is the same chapters. This is the next verse. And through his policy, which is his rules, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Everything we just read, this is some crafty ass shit. Trying to make it seem like the dollar is crashing, trying to make it seem like it's inflations, it's a recession, it's a recall on everything, it's a pandemic, right? They got to do something. This is all crafty work. It says, and through his policy, his rules, his penal codes, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace, this is the point I wanted to get. It says, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand, right? So my point, like I said, is by peace shall he destroy many. That's what they're doing. You will never see Esau come at you and be like, God damn it, we coming for you, Israelites. No, they speak soft, smooth words like we're the U.S. government. We're not going to tolerate any negative energy, so to speak. I'm just throwing something out there. We're not going to tolerate the American government are not going to tolerate rebellion. We can't. The American government are going to handle this situation. But in their mind, they're trying to destroy you. That's what they're going to kill you. That's their objective. Well, we're going to kill these niggas. We're getting rid of these niggas, man. Straight up. And you're going to see pretty soon. All of us are going to see pretty soon. This nigga horns are about to pop out his head. For all the people that think that this, like, if you have any kind of love, I'm going to say this. I will be the first to tell you this. There are some cool white people. That is a fact. But you got to understand why they cool. They cool because the scripture says when a man ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. It's all the Lord. You think they would be that cool with you if they were still lynching and whipping your back? You think, come on, man, let's be real here. We got to think bigger. We got to think like this is all the Lord's doing. The Lord made it where these niggas are soft to us now. Because they know that they've been exposed for everything. Their skirt is being lifted up. Right? But as Joe Biden is saying this, right? Let's see how this is bullshit what he's saying. Because let's see what Donald Trump said. Right? And Donald Trump said that he said this the day before Biden said this. So Biden said this on the 13th. Trump said this on the 12th. Now let's see what Trump says. It says Trump issues dire warning after Silicon Valley Bank failure. All right, so I'm going to just read out on the recent collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. It says, issuing a strongly worded warning in a post to social media. This is Silicon Valley Bank right here, the CVB. The premier financial institution for startup businesses in the United States collapsed on Friday after the uncertainty surrounding its risky investments led to a run on deposits. Same thing that happened in China. Once the 16th largest, you do know once this bank collapsed, nobody can get their money out. These niggas are broke. I don't care how much money you had in there, it's done. Or that man, the CEO, the Becker, he wouldn't have took $2 million out before. He knew what was about to happen. These elites, man, these CEOs of these banks, these CEOs of all these Fortune 500 companies, they know exactly what's about to happen. Now, some of them don't like it, but they know exactly what's about to happen. They just know they can't stop it. That's why he was like, fuck it, I'm going to just take $2 million out. So it says, after the uncertainty surrounding its risky investments led to a run on deposits, once the 16th largest bank in the country with over $200 billion in assets only a few months ago, it has now been taken over by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is working to auction off its assets and repay depositors for their uninsured funds. So what does this mean? Their money is gone. And they're working on getting them their money back. So Trump said on Sunday, Trump posted about the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank on his social media platform, Truth Social, blaming the situation on the economic policies of President Joe Biden, adding that further financial calamities are on the horizon. So Donald J. Trump is telling you, he's like, bro, this shit about to get worse. You think this white man lying? This nigga ain't lying. He is not lying, but this right here is what we call, this is why they choose a president every 4 years, every 8 years, if he run 2 terms. So that when the president is like, when Joe Biden, because Joe Biden right now, I can pull it up right now, Joe Biden is blaming Donald Trump for why these banks are collapsing. And then after him, they're going to blame Joe Biden. And then after him, they're going to blame that president. They're going to blame each president all the way back to George Washington. This is why they get these presidents in and they get them out. Like Obama, Obama was the worst president to step foot in the White House. This nigga literally, I'm talking about literally, this nigga literally took away all your rights, bro. There's executive orders where these niggas can confiscate your car and your house and your food, your dog. You don't believe me? Look it up. Look up all the executive orders that President Obama signed, and you will see for yourself. These niggas made it to where they can confiscate your dog. It says, with what is happening, this is what he said, with what is happening to our economy and with the proposals being made on the largest and dumbest tax increase in the history of the United States, ×5, Joe Biden will go down as the Herbert Hoover of the modern age. The former president wrote, "We will have a Great Depression far bigger and more powerful than that of 1929. As proof, the banks are already starting to collapse." And I don't know if you know about the Great Depression, but in 1929, the Great Depression, they was rationing out food, right? They was rationing. When I say food, I'm talking about canned beans. I'm talking about, I actually did a lesson on this. If you go back, it was like almost a year ago, I did a lesson on this. But it says the Great Depression. The Great Depression was a severe worldwide economy depression that took place mostly during the 1930s, right? Beginning in the United States, the timing of the Great Depression varied across nations. In most countries, it started in 1929 and lasted until the late 1930s. It says it was the longest and deepest. Let me click on this. It says the Great Depression was an economic, so it lasted 10 years. It says, was it economic shock? Economy, right? Dealing with the currency. that impacted. It says it was an economic shock. That means it hit everybody off guard, just like it's about to do again. It's about to hit everybody off guard. And Donald Trump just told you that it's about to be a Great Depression, far beyond the first one. And it told you right here that this shit was a shock. The economy, it was a shock that impacted most countries across the world. It was a period of economic depression. What is economic depression? Is a period of carried long-term economic downturn that is the result of lowered economic activity in one major or more national economies. Economic depression may be related to one specific country where there is some economic crisis that was worsened, right? But let's keep going. It says that became evident after a major fall in stockpiles in the United States. The economic contagion began around September and led to the Wall Street stock market crash of October 24th. Black Thursday, it was the longest, deepest, and most widespread depression of the 20th century. And Donald Trump, he made mention of this Great Depression, and he said it's going to be worse than that. If you go and look into the Great Depression, these people were starving. These niggas, they didn't have nothing. No other countries was doing buying, selling, trade with them because America didn't have nothing. Right? It's just like the Great Leap Forward that happened in China. That was the Great Depression that happened in China. It's called the Great Leap Forward, right? Where they was literally slaving their people. These people were dying from trying to recover from, planting crops, planting vegetations, planting fruits, right? They was trying to make a comeback, and they had to sacrifice a lot of people in China, right? They had to sacrifice a lot of people, right? And that's what China, that's one of China's rules. They'll tell you, they'd be like, hey, we got to sacrifice this generation so the next generation can be successful. That's a real thing. But going back to this, it says, which is working to auction off its access and repay. No, that's not where I was. Okay, so I guess they can be it on that. I can be done with that. All right. But the point is, these banks are collapsing because they're entering into the mark of the beast, the CBDC. Now, I want to read this scripture one more time. I love this precept. This precept should be encouraging. This should make you want to go read the Gospels. All right. This should make you go read the Gospels. This is Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell in the world. It's going to try every single person that dwell in this world, man. They got to deal with this temptation, whether they want to keep everything they have, or if they want to, they want to go against their local governments, go against their government, the Senate, the Congress, right? The Pentagon, anybody that's making the decisions in your country. Every country's got to deal. China's already dealing with it, right? So let's go to one of the most honorable precepts, right? This precept should keep you going, though, right? This is Job chapter 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, right? He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. It says, they meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in noonday as in the night. You understand? It's saying they meet with darkness in the daytime. This is all they think about is darkness because their deeds are evil, man. That's all they fucking think about is how to overthrow the American people to make sure that they stay slaves. All right, what does that go back to? Micah 2. I'm going to get this in a GNT, though. Good news. Get this in a good news. Micah 2. It's saying the same thing. It says the fate of those who oppress the poor. This is what they do. They love oppressing the poor. That's why they're knocking out all the middle class people right now, right? It's either you filthy rich or you filthy poor. That's how they want it. Middle class people they're helping the poor, right? They're standing in between and saying, hey, we all are equal. We need to be treated as such. So what the elites are doing is the elites are the rich, right? We're talking about old money. It's either you got old money or you don't have no money, right? That's what they've been doing too. But it says how terrible it will be for those who lie awake and plan evil, right? This is what Esau does. It's what he's doing right now with this CBDC. It says when morning comes, like we just read in Job, as soon as they have the chance, they do evil. They do the evil they planned, right? That's why when you wake up, as soon as you wake up, they already got bills passed. The Roe versus Wade. It's like, nigga, y'all didn't talk to nobody, the American people, about none of this. And they had it passed already. The Roe versus Wade. That's why when you wake up in the morning, you go to the store to get some coffee before you go to work. Gas then went up. You're like, damn, when did they even change the sign? Have you noticed that they changed the sign in the middle of the night? They never change it in the day. It's always in the middle of the night when they change these signs. Even the prices, you never see them actually change the prices, right? Because that's what they do. They do all this shit while you sleep. But it says they do the evil they planned. When they want fields, they seize them. When they want houses, they take them. No one's family or property is safe. And I'm about to show you how the Bible is real because we literally just read it. What did it say right here about Wells Fargo? It said that these niggas was doing what? It says right here, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said Wells Fargo illegally activity included repeatedly misapplying loan payments, right? Misapplying loan payments. That means you pay a loan, but they like, no, you didn't pay us. We don't have any record of you paying us. It says wrongfully foreclosing on homes. Wrongfully. Man, we talking about somebody's manhood. We talking about, come on, like, let's be real. It says illegally repossessing vehicles, incorrectly assessing fees and interest and charging surprise overdraft fees. That's what this precept is talking about. It says when they want fields, they seize them. When they want houses, they take them. No one's family or property is safe. Now, these banks goes back to the elite bankers. That's why we call them elite bankers, because this is what it goes back to. These niggas, the elites. That's how we know Esau is the devil. He is the wicked, because show me any other nation that has a worldwide bank and everybody has to go through their worldwide bank. Even these other banks in these other countries, they fall under the American bank systems, right? Bank of America is the #1 bank in the world. That's what they're trying to establish with the New World Order. That's going to be the #1 bank, Bank of America. Then JP Morgan, then Wells Fargo, right? And that's why they're going to close all these smaller banks down, and all the people from these smaller banks, they're going to have to fall in order under these major banks. Right? It's actually a nice plan. Like when I say a nice plan, I'm saying it's a crafty ass plan that's going to work to a certain extent. Like if we was in the world, we'd be like, damn, that's a fire ass plan. It says when they want fields, they seize them. When they want houses, they take them. No one's family or property is safe. And so the Lord says, I am planning to bring disaster on you. This is what we are waiting on. This is what we're about to read in Job chapter 5 too. Well, these chapters go hand in hand. Left hand and right hand. Left foot, right foot. Right? Left eyeball, right eyeball. This go hand in hand. He says, I am planning to bring disaster on you, and you will not be able to escape it. You are going to find yourselves in trouble because all of this CBDC, all this transformation, it's going to fail, and they're not going to know what to do. It says, and then you will not walk so proudly anymore. When that time comes, people will use the story about you as an example of disasters. disaster, and they will sing this song of despair about your experience. We are, and there's a precept for that too. Hey, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Isaiah said the same thing in Isaiah 14. I love going precept upon precept. All right. So it says right here. This is what it says. It says right here. I'm going to just read it. The Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke. Remember, he ruled the people, right? And he ruled them by his policies, and he did his policies. Remember, he destroyed the people with peace, right? He deceived the people with peace. So when it says he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, this is talking about, the GMO. It's talking about pestilence. This is talking about the sword. This is talking about all kind of different methods he used. And we don't see the anger of the white man no more. You don't actually see him yelling and screaming on national TV talking about he gonna get you niggers. Nah, he do it in peace now. So even though it's saying this, he's doing this in peace. It says he that ruled the nations, not nations in anger is persecuted and none hinder it. When it says he ruled the nations in anger, this is where you see, videos where America is not going to tolerate this. The U.S. government will not tolerate any of this. It says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved from thee to meet thee at thy coming. Right? Hell goes back to Sheol, which goes back to the grave. Right? It stirred up the dead for thee like a pot of gumbo. Even all the chief ones of the earth, it has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, like it's saying in Micah, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou also, Salakia, art thou become like unto us? Right? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, as you in the grave. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? This is talking about Esau. This ain't talking about Hashatan, Satan. Lucifer is only mentioned one time, and that's in Isaiah 14. Right? And I'm going to show you that it's not talking about Satan. Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the North America. And we're talking about ancient Babylon, but it's talking about North America also, which is the daughter of Babylon. Right? And who else says this? You can read in Obadiah 1, you can read in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that Esau said the same thing. So this is talking about Esau. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the most high. And it says right here, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, right here, is this the man? Satan is not a man. Satan is a spirit that controls men. He has a seed on the earth too that he controls. Just like the Most High is a spirit, Satan is a spirit too. It says, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did its weakest shake kingdoms? Right? So this is talking about Esau. But the point is, the people are going to be saying the same thing according to Isaiah chapter 14. You like us now. Look at you. You weak as hell now. Laughing at them, spitting on them, throwing stuff at them. Right? It says right here in Micah 3, finishing Micah 2 and 3. And so the Lord says, I am planning to bring disaster on you, and you will not be able to escape. You are going to find yourselves in trouble, and then you will not walk so proudly anymore. When that time comes, people will use the story about you as an example of disaster. And they will sing this song of despair about your experience, right? Like Isaiah 14. We are completely ruined. The Lord have taken our land away and given it to those who took us captive. So then, when the time comes for the land to be given back to the Lord's people, there will be no share of any of it for any of you. When the Lord give his people back the land, they're not sharing shit with you. Straight up. And that's what we look forward to, man, in these last days, right? So from there, let's go back to Job. That's what I was getting. Job. So Job chapter 5 and verse 12, verse 14. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword. We are the poor. I know for a fact I'm poor as hell. We poor. We're the poor. We are the meek, right? What it say in Matthew 5. Step upon precept, line upon line here, a little there, a little. You gotta add this like 100% accurate for this to work. Where is it? All right, so look, and seeing the multitudes, Matthew 5 and 1, and seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, this is the first thing he said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Straight up, man. And it keeps on going. It talks about all these different people that mourn, the meek, the people that's hungry, the merciful, the pure in heart, the peacemakers, the people that's being persecuted, which is the Israelites. All these terms go back to the Israelites. So it says right here, but he saveth the poor from the sword, right? From their mouth and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor have hope, right? And what did it tell you in Zechariah? I believe in Zechariah 11, we are prisoners of hope. And iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore, despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. Right? We're supposed to be happy when we're going through what we're going through here in Babylon the Great, because it's going to make us a better person. Right? And yeah, that sounds like it's like, bro, who the hell is happy going through trials and tribulations and afflictions and temptations? Right? It's not, you're not supposed to be happy at the moment. You're supposed to be happy afterwards. Straight up. And that's what it tells you in Hebrews chapter 12. It says, but afterwards it yielded the peaceable fruits of righteousness. But it says, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He wounded in his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. This is comfort scripture right here, starting at 19. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Why shall there no evil touch thee? Precept upon precept. He says, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Let's see why. This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 5. Look what it says. Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So going back to Job chapter 5, he says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Why? Because you keeping the commandments of the Most High God now. In famine he shall redeem thee from death. Right? And when the world is in famine, they ain't got no food or water for themselves or their children or their parents. The Lord said he's going to redeem you. He's going to feed you. That's Isaiah chapter 65, starting at 15. It says, and in war, which is going to be a whole lot of that on American soil, and in war from the power of the sword. So you're not going to have to worry about getting slaughtered by a damn AR-15 or a Glock 40 or a Desert Eagle or a 9mm or a physical sword or a knife or a nuke or an RPG. You're not going to have to worry about none of that. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. People lashing their tongue out against you. They whet their tongues like swords. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Why wouldn't we be afraid of destruction when it cometh? That's something we should be afraid of, right? Why? Because we have hope, right? We believe that the Lord has justified us through the blood of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. That's what you gotta have. Hope, man. Gotta have hope in these last days for what's coming. Because if you don't, the Lord is gonna give you over to whatever you're afraid of. Hey, and that's prophecy. It's like your second Ezra 2. Before I get to second Ezra chapter 2, I'm actually show you. It's what the Lord said. And this right here, this precept actually scares me, right? It scares me. I'm gonna just show you. It says Revelation 21:7. And it says, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, that's the first thing it says. The fearful, you being scared and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. If you are a scary person and you do not believe that the Most High is, then the Lord said, you're going in that lake. You don't believe that I can save you, you're going in that lake then. That's why he says, woe unto you that have lost patience. It says, woe unto you that is faint-hearted, for you believe. If not, therefore shall ye not be offended. Lord ain't going to defend no scary-ass person who don't believe in him. Right? But I'm getting this second Ezra chapter 5 because of verse 20 and 21, where it talks about famine and it's talking about war from the power of the sword, right? And being hid from the people's mouth. What they gonna do to you, right? Neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Right? Let's get second Ezra chapter 2. Right? It says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Right? The Lord is going to require 1/3 from amongst the 2/3. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, right? This is the day of destruction, trouble and heaviness. Others shall weep and be sorrowful, right? They're going to be hungry. They're going to be getting put to death by the power of the sword in war, like we just read in Job 5. But thou shalt be merry and have abundance. That is crazy. The Lord says we're going to be merry, Lord willing us. Let me say that. We're going to be merry and have abundance. How, like, I just cannot wait to see what that's going to look like. You being merry, that means you joyful, you happy, and you got abundance. You got more than what you need in the day where everybody is suffering. I can't wait to see that. It also says the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. Bro, he put his name right there. He stamped his name, the Lord, which is, it says Yahweh. He says, my hand shall cover thee so that thy children shall not see hell. Hell is the grave, Sheol. And then he says, be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, said the Lord again. Said the Lord again. So he stamped his name twice. So this CBDC bullshit, this is shit we laugh at. We can laugh at this, right? And I'm about to show you where it says that. So verse 22 in Job 5, at destruction and famine, thou shalt what? Thou shalt laugh, right? And we laugh at it now. We laugh at, when we out there on the highways about, we be laughing at all of this that we see coming to pass. With these banks collapsing, Esau trying to plan our demise. Man, we laughing. At destruction and famine, we laughing. Yeah, oh, it's a recession coming, huh? We laughing at that. Inflation, we laughing at that. It says, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Why? Because he's going to make a covenant with the beast, with the Israelites. And it tells you that in Psalm 91. But it says right here, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beast of the field shall be at peace with thee. But guess what? In Ezekiel 14, that's one of the Lord's 4 sword judgments that he's going to use to devour the people in the times we're coming upon. Even the elites. right? Even your government officials, right? That's why we speak so bold and say, fuck the white man and he's going into slavery. And we literally say that when we out there on the highways and byways. We tell them they plans ain't going to work. They ain't going to do shit. They ain't going to do nothing. And we are that confident that the Lord is going to protect us. If you ain't moving like that, you not so confident in the Lord. It says, and thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, your home, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shalt not sin. Right? And this is talking about us going back home. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great. So our seed is going to be great, like it just confirmed in 2nd Ezra chapter 2. Right? When it's talking about our seed, it says, be joyful, O mother, Salaki right here. My hands shall cover thee so that thy children shall not see hell. His hands is his angels. His eyes is his angels. It says, be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, said the Lord. The same thing Job is saying. It says, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. That means they're going to grow like the grass. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a shock of corn coming in his season. Lo, this we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and know thou it for thy good. So, hey, in the midst of all of this CBDC, in the midst of the banks collapsing, because we here, this ain't the time to be panicking. No, this ain't the time to lose faith, to get offended. This is not the time for that. This is the time that we supposed to be rejoicing, because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Our kingdom is here. We're building it now, but it's here already, man. We just got to be patient, right? That's all we got to do, is be patient and watch this kingdom fall. And I'll close out with this. Sirach 25. I'll close out with this. That's all we got to do, is be patient and watch this mug circle the drain, bro. Right here. Sirach chapter 25, verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. So whatever we about to read after this, he says this makes him happy, and it should make you happy also. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. So be patient. You see it right before your eyes. This place is falling, man. Praise the Lord, and do what you got to do to endure, man. So with that, I want to say shalom.